know for a fact. I haven't heard her say it.
No, it's true.
But anyway.
Yeah, she spoke of it.
See, so Chris Rock, that was an attack, but then later someone said they had evidence that a Caucasian wrote that particular joke for Chris Rock. So this was a hit, a direct hit on Jada from the Academy. And what Will did when he heard it, he probably knew there's probably some rumbling going on before he came, to the Academy regarding Jada. So when he slapped Chris Rock, who's the imp, playing the imp with that joke for the Academy, he smacked those trendsetters. He smacked the trendsetters. That's what he did. That's what I saw. Thank you for letting me share.
Praise be to Allah. I agree with you. Walaikum salam. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yes.
I guess this is as good a time as any. I can share some of what I was blessed to speak with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan the next day, getting some guidance on another matter. And,
all right.
Let's brace ourselves. Brace yourself.
Well, he reminded me that he addressed the profound craft of acting during the Swan Song. And, of course, I don't come from Dianetics or Scientology. I come from the study guides.
Right.
And we were having a discussion about the fact, if you remember, he shared with us, and he has on a couple of occasions, but he shared with all of us during the Swan Song, his teacher correcting him on his play and his having the brother play the homosexual and the sister playing a prostitute, and I think another brother played the pimp, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, spoke to him about the brain and the mind. And, of course, you are what you think you are, okay? And when Will got up to accept the award, and as you recall, he was crying, he was sobbing. And he spoke about the pain and suffering of Richard Williams. And here's a black man rearing 5 black girls. And those of you that saw the film, you saw all that he went through to protect them, to guide them, shepherd them, and faced all kinds of abuse from his own people as well as from Caucasians. Because remember, it was a black woman living across the street that called the so-called, whatever they call their child protective, so-called protective services, on him when he and his wife were really the quintessential black parents, okay? And yet they have to be confronted with and put under the intrusion and microscope of white people. But he said that, Will, when you're an actor and you're a good one, an excellent one like he is, and you travel down into the mind and spirit of another person, you really become that person. And remember, he talked about it. He said, well, I guess I just became the crazy father, protecting my family. And, as you said, and the minister expressed to me his irritation with the quickness of people judging Will Smith. And a lot of comments being made. about what he should not have done. When in fact, this is his wife.
Right.
And, I don't like award shows at all, but my husband was very interested to see whether this Academy awarded Will the Oscar for that role, because no one came close to him within the sphere of all of that they do. But in terms of leading role, there's no one that deserved it more than him. So we were in our bedroom with our grandchildren, my little young grandchildren. They had stayed Sunday night, and I was half watching and half not watching, and all of a sudden the sound went out, on the television. So I thought either my husband or one of the children rolled over on the remote control, and I was like, no, they're doing that. They're doing that. That's some delayed, they're silencing Will. And then I see him yelling something. You can tell he's yelling. But to make a long story short, this was an attack on the black woman, on his wife. And I heard someone else say what you just said, Sister Carol. Someone else told me earlier this evening that they read somewhere that Chris was reading a script. Comedians have writers, okay, especially in that realm, because this is also a man, I think I mentioned earlier, he's been vaccinated, he's pro-vaccine, he's pushing the vaccine. He took the job of MC the year that Jada was trying to organize a boycott and had some facetious things to say about her back then. And now here she is with a medical condition. That wasn't a hairstyle that she chose. And for him to draw a comparison with Demi Moore in G.I. Jane, this is a medical condition. And a lot of people observed that they felt that Will, there was tension in the room, okay, because of this history. And tension because Will had, in the mind of Jada, been denied the Oscar previously for another film. And so there was tension there. And to attack or to make mockery of her with a medical condition. And some people said, because I slept that part, that that Will tried to tolerate it. He had sort of a strained sort of laugh, but he looked at his wife and saw the pain in his wife. And as the minister said to me, you can push a person to the point where they do snap. And he said, I don't know if Will realizes it, but he was expressing the pain not only of Richard Williams, but of a people. Of a people. And, I'll just close with this, that I was interviewed by the Final Call about Judge Brown Jackson's nomination and what she was going through. And they didn't print that part of the interview, but the Brother William Muhammad, who wrote it, he asked me what I thought about Cory Booker, Senator Cory Booker, coming to the defense of the judge. And I said, to me, that was a sign of what has to happen. And we're in the middle of that in Study Guide 19, which we're on right now. And that is the proper view by the black man of his woman. And the minister said to the men in that study guide, you will remain disconnected from God until you have a proper view of the woman. And if you can't understand her, you'll never understand Allah, because she is his second self. So whenever you disrespect her, you're disrespecting him, because she is a part of him. And I was reminded, I was glad Cory Booker did that. He should have done that. And Will should have got up in defense of his wife for a man who went there too many times. And people have said, oh, he slapped him. If it was real, he would have punched him. Maybe they don't realize that Will Smith is not some little pansy. Did you see the training he underwent for the Ali role? Have you seen some of the physical roles he has played, if you don't know anything about it? And he had the presence of mind to open-handed hit that man, rather than he probably would have been cuffed and taken out of there if he hit him with his fist, because he'd have knocked him flat on his back. But when you take, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, too much joking is no good.
No good, right.
You know, and so, you know, we could talk about this all night or whatever, but we're not going to do that. We're under 10 minutes, but thank you, Sister Carol. See what you did. But the minister was very clear with me that, you know, he said he didn't think Chris meant any harm, but, and you know, he knows all of them. However, he brought out of Will what is to be brought out in this moment, in this hour. Oh, and then lastly, see, look at the son. You know, remember how Whoopi Goldberg got attacked by the Jews recently?
Right.
For having an opinion, a viewpoint.
Right. Yes,
about why Hitler did what he did. See, because they'll pay you money all day long, but you can't have an opinion or view.
Right.
That they didn't give you. Remember, he talked about that in the criterion.
That's right.
But I understand the Board of Governors of the Academy sat down to discuss taking the award away from Will Smith, and Whoopi Goldberg told them, as Cedric would say, I wish you tried to take it. And she reminded them of, just to name a few, Roman Polanski, a Hollywood director who 50 years ago was convicted of statutory rape for sex with a 13-year-old girl when he was a grown man then. He left the United States and has been in Europe ever since. Never came back. They gave him an award a few years ago. Well, he's a fugitive from justice. How about Woody Allen marrying his adopted daughter? And his son accused him, the one that's on the news, the anchor, accused him of molesting her while she was a child. He got him an Oscar, several of them, I think. Nobody's taken his away.
At all.
So that's just a lot of food for thought. That's all.
And just one quick point.
Yes, sure. Yes, sir.
No, I was just saying one quick point, because I just kind of left the debate alone as I listened, but one of the student minister, Willie from New Orleans, lifted up. He said, if you have read his book, then you understand that there's a part of trigger. You know, he said there's triggers, and everybody needs to study what will cause you to trigger somebody else and know and study your own triggers and what will trigger you to do something. And he also said, take Will and Chris out of the Oscars, out from the fancy state, and put them in a neighborhood near you with drugs, with alcohol, with guns, and all you would have seen is another dead black man. You wouldn't have seen just a slap. And he was just pointing that out, that even what we saw, you know, if you look at the bigger thing and what we have to actually address in our communities. But I like how you laid it out, like, you know, after so much, you know, you're going to have to stand up. So, you know, it's like you said, it's a lot to discuss.
Yeah, what the minister's saying to us is that we're at our limit. You know,
that's
I
right,
remember
exactly.
when until we correct the role reversal, where the black woman was pushed out to the front to save us as a people because of the crushing of the black man, okay? And so these open assaults on her under the guise of comedy.
That's right.
That's right.
You don't see white men attack their woman like that. You don't see it.
That's right. That's right.
And because Will stood up and took the point, Jada could sit there like Nefertiti and maintain her dignity. Then you don't have to run around saying, oh, they're loud, they're boisterous, they act like a man. Well, if you got to feed the family and put a roof over everybody's head and do male jobs, activities are some are testosterone driven, some are estrogen driven. When we were in Egypt back in the early 90s, and the minister told my husband and I, while you're over there, go to Mecca and do your Umrah. And he wrote a letter for us. They would not accept the letter at the Saudi embassy, signed by Minister Louis Farrakhan. My husband told them, oh, you will let us into Mecca.
Right. Come on now.
And he stood up in that Saudi embassy and ran that Quran on them about impeding men's way from the mosque. Okay? I'm supposed to be the sister minister. I didn't have to say a word. Woo! So if we're tired of hearing black women talk, then you stand up and talk like Minister Farrakhan. Come on.
That's right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And I said
beautiful,
that loud
beautiful,
and crazy,
beautiful.
But that's the lesson. When Winnie Mandela and those brothers and sisters in South Africa started with those tire necklaces, okay, people will take us seriously when we call one another to task.
Teach.
Woo. That we didn't had enough of this man being as the sister said, an imp. It's more to this than just, see, Craig Melvin on the Today Show, I'm tired of men of color not being able to contain their rage. No, Allah feels anger and rage, but he directs it. But he doesn't not have it. We're not going to do away with it. That's what white people want us to do. You're not our judge. You don't tell us when to go off. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said a warrior came out of that triple darkness of space. That man didn't have mercy. That's the highest of his 99 attributes. He had to evolve to develop those attributes. But he first had to fight to come into existence. We're going to have to fight. And some of us are going to have to fight each other because some of us have sold out.
That's right.
Too bad, so sad. You go with the enemy. You're not going to lay up among us anymore and sell us out to the enemy. And a lot of our people, oh, he shouldn't have hit him. With Chris and his tickets are selling, fine. Go ahead and go. Pay $1,500 to hear this clown. Enough is enough. And that's not to say you shouldn't control your behavior, but there's a time and a season when you got to let loose, and you got to let people know what time it is.
That's right.
Well,
yes, ma'am.
Blue all the time. I got to thank our brother minister, Brother Demetric Muhammad. I have to thank Sister Rona Muhammad, and go to researchminister.com to get your Quranic reading journal and historical digest. Sister Rona Muhammad, our executive producer, my co-host, Brother Terrence Muhammad, the host of A Time for Justice, Sister Pamela Muhammad, and all of you who call in and log in each and every Thursday to Elevated Places Network. And please log in to A Time for Justice every Tuesday, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. May Allah bless us all with love and the light of understanding as I leave you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.